things going on. Um, Another thing is that belonging feels really good. So we have a sense in as a human being to feel the need to belong, and it feels good to be a part of a friend group or be part of the group that we want to be in, or just be similar to everybody else. But it also could lead to unhealthy and not smart choices. So a lot of kids at this age make not good or smart decisions. And they might look cool now and they might be cool for doing it, but we have to make sure that we stay true to ourselves and also understand that, just because someone else does something doesn't mean that it's going to be a healthy or smart decision in the future. It can actually negatively impact your health, your wealth, your knowledge, and we don't want to do that. So, a quote I wanted to talk about was, "We all just want to be seen, but not at the cost of who we are." So, basically, what that quote means is that we all want to be seen, we all want to be appreciated, we all want to be understood in this world, but we don't want to do it at the cost of who we are as a person. So we have to be very mindful of all the acts that we do and what we pursue, what we show ourselves as is how other people are going to see us as. So you are a reflection of yourself, whether the way you dress, speak, look like, that is a reflection of who you are on the inside. And we don't want to ever follow under peer pressure that we lose who we are and our true identity to be like someone else. We want to be original. We don't want to copy the crowd. We don't want to be how everybody else is. So there's a couple different types of peer pressure. So there's negative peer pressure. So it tends to lead to negative, harmful behavior. So one example is using substance to fit in. So, for example, when I was younger, when I was young, everybody loved Victoria's Secret wearing pink. And so I wanted to wear pink clothing because everybody else had it and I wanted to be like just like everyone else. And those shirts were so expensive. They were like $50 for a shirt that everybody had. And I just wanted to wear it so bad to fit in. But this could lead to harmful behavior because I would obsess over what I wore because I wanted to fit in. And honestly, at the end of the day, nobody even cared. Nobody cared if somebody wore the same pink shirt that they did. It didn't matter. A lot of girls didn't wear them. It didn't matter. And so it costs a lot of money to fit in for no reason. And they were really weren't a cute shirt. So I don't know why I was wearing it in the first place. But that was the time I felt negative peer pressure to fit in by wearing what everybody else was wearing. So a positive of peer pressure could be encouraging growth or responsibility. So one of my positive peer pressures that I had is actually joining her movement. Funny. Sophia, my roommate at the time, and the other mental health intern, she was a part of her movement, and I would hear your guys' meetings a little bit in the background, and I really wanted to know more about the organization. So I kind of asked her about it, picked her brain a little bit, and she encouraged me to join it. And greatest decision. I love all of you guys, and I love, spreading what I know and talking every Monday. And I love this community that we've grown. And so that was definitely a positive peer pressure because it took me out of my comfort zone. I can now talk and make a presentation and not feel scared that I'm going to be judged. It also has been a great decision that I made because I get to meet everybody here and I get to talk to everybody and I get to talk about things that, are really important to me and important that I think everybody should hear. So yeah, that was a positive peer pressure. Thank you, Sophia. She's not on Zoom, but I have to thank her later about that. And then a societal peer pressure is the pressure to meet unrealistic ideas. So examples are social media, image culture. There are so many women I look up to on Instagram because they have the perfect body, the perfect teeth, the perfect face. everything about them seems so perfect to me, and I just want to look like them so bad. It happens all the time. Whether I purposely do it or not, I'll scroll through Instagram or Snapchat or TikTok, and I constantly compare myself to other women, and it makes you really negatively think about yourself because maybe your teeth aren't as white as hers. Maybe you weigh more than her. And so it's a horrible toxic thing that we do in our heads to fit into society because we deem that woman as that person as beautiful or that person as a role model. But there's tons of things on social media that are 100% fake, such as Photoshop. So these girls that are beautiful, we don't know if they use Photoshop. We don't know if that day they didn't eat anything, so they look really skinny, or if that day they posed really good and great lighting where they look like that. There's so many things on social media that are faked, especially now with AI. So we should never compare ourselves, especially because to society on social media because most of it is not real. They try and pretend it's real. It's not. These girls don't actually look like that in real life. They don't dress that way. They don't speak that way. They aren't actually like that. So we need to realize that social media is social media because they want to do it to brag. They want to do it to be featured or show themselves, but we have to look in the mirrors and remind ourselves of how beautiful we are and that we don't need to look like those girls or act like those girls or dress like those girls to fit in. We know that we are beautiful and we don't need the validation of another woman and to look like another woman to feel beautiful. So, social media and societal pressures. So, online trends can shape what's normal. So there's tons of trends out there of how to look, how to change, how to look like you're, how to be beautiful, how to lose 10 pounds quick and easy. There's so many different societal pressures of what's normal. Nobody's normal. Everybody is different and beautiful in their own ways. There's not one set standard of what beautiful looks like. Everybody has a different definition of what a beautiful person looks like. And we don't want to be normal. Nobody's normal. Everybody has their flaws. Everybody has different ideas on the world, different stances, different opinions. So nobody is normal looking at these women online or looking at social media posts. Nobody is normal. We all don't look like that. And we're all beautiful for not looking like that. Could you imagine how boring we would all be if we all looked the exact same? It would not be fun. So next thing we have is unrealistic body image and lifestyles, and it increases our comparison. It's so easy to look at some girl and see that she has a six pack, and we feel bad at ourselves because we look in the mirror and we see that we don't have a six pack, or our arms don't look like that, our legs are fatter than hers, or my butt's too big, or my butt's too small. It's so easy to look at someone who took a photo and critique ourselves for the past 5 hours over something that was photoshopped, edited, posted with filters, good lighting. It's so easy for these women, and it's really easy for social media to get these things wrong because we don't know what went on behind the scenes. We don't know if these women actually look like that. We don't know how they are as a person. We don't know if they use Photoshop or AutoTune or whatever they use to look or sound that way. We don't know. And so therefore we can't compare because we don't know what goes on behind that photo. We don't know how that woman feels behind the photo. So we have to get it out of our heads that what we see online is real. It's not real. And these women do lots of other things that we shouldn't be doing just to fit a beauty standard that is so insignificant. Also, the algorithm rewards imitation, not authenticity. Um, it's really easy for you to post something on social media that blends in with everybody else, but it's not you. It's not being authentic. It's not being who you are. It's following what everybody else does. And we don't want to follow what everybody else does because we're different people and we have different ideas and views on the world. So it's very easy to look at what somebody posts and want to post the same thing But if we truly don't believe it and we don't understand it and we don't really 100% agree with it, then we shouldn't be posting it because you're not like everybody else. Let's be authentic. Let's be our true personal selves. Why are we trying to copy everybody else? Um, so there's tons of social media campaigns that promote self-acceptance. We really need to strive self-acceptance and understanding who we are as people and really strive to be authentically us because we're all different. We don't need to be the same as everybody else. So real life scenarios. So one example is a friend pressures you to skip class to have fun. So this actually happens all the time in college. Um, with college, you have a professor you pick out. Attendance normally isn't mandatory, and if it is, you're allowed to sometimes have three skips in class and still keep a good grade. But it's happened to me numerous times where my friend is like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I'm like, "Oh, well, I actually have class in 30 minutes." And they're like, "What if you skip and we do X, Y, and Z instead?" And it's really, really easy to be like, oh my gosh, yes, I'm not going to class today. Like, I'm going to go out with them and have a blast. Why would I go to school when I can easily go with my friend and have a blast? But we need to stay true to ourselves and we need to understand that, you know what? I can do that after class. Or class is more important because I pay for it, because I'm a student, because if I miss class, I know I'm going to be behind on assignments, quizzes, grades, whatever, and I miss out on the learning opportunity that I could have gotten from skipping class. So that's one example. Another example is a group encourages you to post something risky online. So, my question to you guys is what are healthy ways to respond in this scenario if, your friends encourage you to post something risky online that maybe you don't think that you should post? So, I'm going to give you guys in like 1 minute to type in the chat or to say it out loud how you would respond. And then I'm going to go over your guys' responses and also go over with a response of my own. So you guys have until 7:50, I'm going to say 7:53, um, to write in the chat what you think or to unmute your mic and let me know.
Um, I wouldn't post it only because like I'm putting an image out there for myself, so it's not just like my friends only have my social media, like other people or little or kids' parents, they see like what people post, so it's not worth an image. Posting something that you have no business posting, it's not worth your image in the long run.
Perfect response, Chloe. Perfect. Anyone else? Great, Nana. I love it. I can see that you said you would say no because you don't have a bad reputation. I agree. Anybody else? I'm missing in the
It's
chat.
another in the chat.
Oh, you would say no because you don't think it is right. I agree. Great, great. Um, these are all great responses. We need to make sure that, you know, if there's any doubt or guilt in our post, like if you look at an image that you took and there's any idea in your head that maybe this is not a good idea to post, then we need to not post it right then and there. If you wouldn't want your parents to see something, your close friends, your grandparents, a future job employer to see it, we should not be posting it. It's really easy to take a picture, a risky photo, whether it's in a bathing suit, risky bathing suit, or you and your friends doing something that you shouldn't be doing. It's really easy to want to post it and be like, oh, I'm cooler. Oh, I want to fit in. But we have to understand that what goes on social media lives forever. And we also don't know where these images are going to. We have to be very careful of what we put out online because it lives forever and it gets collected in a database forever. So, you don't want to turn one silly photo that you posted when you were young to spread like wildfire and have people talk about you. You don't want to feel embarrassed that an employer brings up a photo that you've posted before or that you didn't get the job because you posted something from years ago that was inappropriate. Or you don't want your parents to see something and be upset that you posted it or your grandparents. So we need to make sure that we are very, very visual on social media and we need to make sure that what we post only reflects the best parts of ourselves. And we also need to not fall into society of, women posting half naked photos. Like we need to not follow that. Just because they do it doesn't mean that everybody should do it. Doesn't mean it's a good decision. It doesn't mean anything. So we just need to be aware of what we're posting online because it lives forever and can be used against you forever too. Um, Emotional impact. So with peer pressure, it's really easy to feel anxious, anxiety, guilt, or identity confusion. It can result from negative pressure. I felt very anxious that in college, it's so easy to like not feel like you belong, especially like identity confusion. I was in a sorority and I was like, oh my gosh, I should join a sorority because I'm going to meet all my best friends. And, I think it would be great for me. And I joined it and I didn't really like it. It wasn't for me. The girls didn't fit me. They weren't really nice to me. I didn't feel like I belonged. So it's really easy to feel identity confusion because maybe I felt peer pressured, like that I had to belong with everybody, that I had to be best friends with everybody in my sorority, that I had to fit in and do everything that they do to fit in. So we have to also understand that if it is making us feel anxiety or guilt or feel like we don't know who we are as a person, then we need to take a step back and understand like maybe these group of people aren't for me. Maybe I rather be with a different group of people who are going to make me feel loved and make me feel cherished and make me feel good about myself. Maybe the anxiety of not fitting in or not getting invited to do something, maybe we need to sit and reflect and be like, well, would I want to be doing that anyways? Is it a good decision? Or even the guilt, like, oh my goodness, I can't believe I did do that with those friends. Like, what if that gets on social media? What if somebody else finds out about it? So we need to be very aware that emotionally, peer pressure attacks us at a time that you won't even expect it. And we need to know how to handle these things and understand that these are normal human feelings that we all feel with peer pressure. Um, the fear of rejection makes it harder to resist. You feel like if you say no, that these people aren't going to like you, that you're not going to be in this friend group or you're not going to be accepted. We need to get that out of our head and understand that just because this group of people might not like that decision, another group of people will, and they'll want to be friends with me and they'll have the same beliefs and values as me. We also need to remember that temporary existence does not equal lasting happiness. So just because you felt temporary and special in that moment, it doesn't mean that it's always gonna make you feel happy. It doesn't mean that you won't regret the decision later. Just because you did that with a group of friends and you felt good at the time doing that, a week from later you might feel embarrassed that you did it. So we need to understand that emotionally, social pressure is really hard on us, and we need to know how to look at ourselves, reflect on ourselves, take a minute before you say yes to plans, and truly think about the pros and cons of the situation. And we have to understand that our what we do also affects other people. So just because you made that decision to do something that wasn't a best decision with your friend, we have to understand that there could be negative consequences that could affect our family, affect ourselves, affect our future, affect us emotionally. affect us and that friend. So we need to take a second before we do something, before we feel peer pressure, and understand these feelings that we're feeling. So, how to handle peer pressure? Trust your instincts. We all know right from wrong. We all do. That's the first thing that we really learned as kids. So we need to understand that if it feels wrong on the inside, it probably is. And we need to trust our gut. If it feels wrong and it feels like a bad idea, we need to understand that maybe we shouldn't do it because we don't want to feel bad about it later. If you know it's wrong, most likely 9 out of 10 times it's wrong and you should not be doing it. We also need to practice assertive communication. No, I'm not into that. No, thank you. I'm good. I'm going to stay home. I'm not going to do that. It's really hard to be assertive and communicate for ourselves because you fear what other people are going to say. You're going to fear the reactions of people might not liking you because you decided to say no to something. But the more we practice assertively communicating and speaking on behalf of ourselves, is the minute it becomes really easy to say it to someone else. So I want you guys to practice, you know, at night. You need to tell yourselves every single night that you're beautiful, you're strong, you're smart, you are a hard worker, but you also need to practice communicating and speaking on behalf of yourselves. Um, Build a supportive friend group. Friends are how we live in this world. It's really easy to make friends and it's hard sometimes too, but it's really easy to feel like you belong in the right group. So if you feel uneasy about a group, if you feel like maybe it's not for you, then maybe it isn't for you. But when we build a great support system, especially with friends, families, cousins, we are able to learn right from wrong. Our supportive friends actually would never put us in a position where we feel like we can't do it, where we feel peer pressured. So we need to make sure that who we're friends with are good friends. And we have to understand that you are a reflection of your friends. So if your friends are doing bad things and not smart decisions, you are a reflection of them. And so people are going to think you do bad things and you have a bad image just because you hang out with a certain group of people. So we need to understand that we can't let peer pressure help stop us from finding good friends because good friends aren't going to make you feel peer pressured if you say no to something. They're going to understand and accept your decision. We also have to set personal boundaries. If you don't feel comfortable with doing something, you need to advocate for that. You need to understand, what's comfortable to you and what's not. So, one of my examples like that is I don't like when people lie to me. I really don't like it. It's not funny to me. I don't like when people white lie or whatever kind of lie they want to um, say. So, one of my personal boundaries is that my friends tell me the truth, regardless of if it's going to hurt my feelings or not. I really truly respect honesty. And so to me, that's a personal boundary of me. If you lied to me and I caught you in a lie or I found out you were lying, you break one of my personal boundaries as a person. And then I'm going to think, why did you lie? So that's one of my personal boundaries. And those are like good personal boundaries that we have to, understand. And also, you'll know if it feels bad. You know if it will cross you or you know if it hurts your feelings. That's a personal boundary. If somebody hurts your feelings, then they did something that broke one of your personal boundaries, and you need to really take that in reflection and understand why they did it and understand how you're going to move on forward with it, whether that's being their friend or whether that crossed your personal boundary too much to the point where you can't be friends with them. We also need to find mentors or adults to talk to. When I was younger, it my sister's best friend or my best friend's older sister was our mentor. Like she was older than us and it was really easy for her to tell us right from wrong because she had been in similar situations growing up. whether it was the pressure to drink or that we didn't have a big enough friend group or we didn't dress how everybody dressed or we didn't look like how every girl looked. And so it's really important to find trusted older adults or mentors to talk to about these things because most likely they've gone through the same thing and they have great insights on how to feel and they can validate your feelings and they can show you what's right from wrong. And me and Sophie are always a phone call, a text away. We would love to be your mentor for that. I would love to tell you what I think about a situation or if I think you should do something or not. There's been plenty of times that I felt peer pressured. And, I really liked that I had my best friend's older sister because I had to check in like, wait, is it right that I don't think that this is right? It's like a good check in to make sure that you know that you're making the right decision or to validate your feelings. How to handle peer pressure. So, confidence grows from self-awareness and purpose. Confidence grows in within us. So if you're confident, you won't care what other people have to think or what other people do. It's really easy to fall into society pressures, but we need to be confident and understand that we are who we are and we don't want to be like everyone else. Also, you need to engage in hobbies, volunteering, and self-expression. You need to do things that you like doing. You need to do things that you and your friends like doing. It's a great way to keep yourself busy and not feel the societal pressure is when you do things that you're passionate about, that you really love. And choose authenticity over approval. Why do we care to look like everyone else? Why do we want to look like everyone else? We want to be us and we want to do something that we like to do or we like to do or what we like to look at or who we want to be. So the quote I picked out is the strongest voice you have is your own. And it also goes in with another quote I always say all the time is you are your own advocate. In this world, mom and dad are able to advocate on behalf of you, but when you come to college, mom and dad aren't living with you. They can't advocate for you. So you need to really learn how to advocate for yourself, especially before you go to college or the real world where mom and dad can't do it anymore. And you are your best advocation. So nobody knows how you feel like you do. So you need to learn how to put yourself out there to be authentically yourself and also to understand your personal boundaries that you know how to advocate for yourself when somebody crosses it or where you want to do something or don't do something. Conclusion, your choices do define who you are. So peer pressure will always exist. And what really truly matters to this peer pressure is your response to it all. So it's easy to fall in the peer pressure and feel guilty about it, but the feeling of not falling into peer pressure and your response being authentically yourself is what truly matters. And you'll be so happy you picked what you feel and be authentically you. True friends respect your decisions. They're not going to critique you for not doing something that they want to do. They're not going to get mad at you that you don't want to do something that crosses your boundaries. They're going to respect you and they're going to understand your decisions. And they even might listen to your decisions themselves too and do it as well. Be the example that others can look up to. That's a great, great, great point. You want to be the example that look up to your example in this life, in this world, and be like them. But you also want to be the example that other people look up to. We want to make sure that we're doing things authentically, and we want to make sure that other people are looking up to our decisions that we make. And this, this quote, be bold, be kind, be you, is something that I personally say every single morning when I wake up. I look in the mirror and I tell myself that I want to be bold, I want to be kind, and I want to be authentically myself because it's really easy to feel societal pressures. It's really easy to feel like you don't belong. But when we remind ourselves that we want to be kind, bold, and authentically ourselves, then nobody else can stop us because that's how we want to be. And then remember to stay true to yourself. And thank you for watching this. Presentation and listening. I'm going to ask if you guys have any questions. You can say them in the chat. Um, so if you have any questions, feel free to write them out. We can go over like a scenario or two, or if you feel like maybe you made a decision that you shouldn't have, you want to go over a decision or something, or yeah, so I'm gonna give you guys like a minute or two. If nobody says anything in the chat, then I'll let you guys go if you have no questions or no follow-up. Yeah.
So before we all go, does anybody have any questions about anything that she talked about tonight, or any questions about peer pressure in general? Have any, well, I want to know, has anybody experienced peer pressure themselves, or have you been the person to peer pressure somebody?
I felt peer pressure. I feel peer pressured every day. It's really easy to see on social media that, you know, a lot of college kids skip class or they go out to parties and do things that they shouldn't be doing. So it's really easy for me personally to feel societal pressure that, you know, why am I not partying like everyone else? Should I be going out and drinking and doing not smart decisions? So these are questions I think about on the daily when I look on social media and see that my friend went out last night. I'm like, oh, why didn't I go? Should I have went? Should I made those decisions? But I choose to stay authentically myself, and I have to take a step back after seeing those posts or seeing those invitations or feeling or having my friend call me and be like, let's go out. Like, I have to step back and understand, like, okay, I have class, so I don't want to make dumb decisions. I'm not 21, so I can't legally drink. And I don't want to be put in an opportunity where I can get in trouble. So those are a lot of societal pressures like I feel being in college, and I have to understand that I'm authentically myself and I have to say no because they don't stand in the values I believe in, and they are not the person who I want to be.
Yeah, I will agree with you. Me at my big age, same thing. Everybody knows Halloween just passed. So adults like to party too. And all of my adult friends went out. They went to a concert. They went to go see Plies and everything, right? The whole shebang. But I did not give in to the peer pressure and chose to be responsible, to be that responsible adult, because I had somewhere to be the next morning early, bright and early. If I would have given in to that peer pressure, although it was a concert, it's Plies, I like Plies if anybody know. Um, I would not have waken up on time. I would have missed my entire plans for the next day, and that would have did more damage than good. So yeah,
I wanted to ask, does peer pressure ever go away?
I don't think so. I think a big part of it, like you said, is just we all know the right thing to do. There's good decisions and bad decisions. It just comes down to making those decisions.
Ugh, peer pressure. Ugh. But yeah, we all do know what's right from wrong. That's the first lesson we're taught when we're younger. So if it feels bad in our gut, we know that it's the wrong decision.
All
Well,
right.
if there's no questions, I'm gonna let you go, Chloe. Thank you for joining on. Is Nana still on?
No, she had
Nana's
to hop off.
okay.